Hello, everyone, and welcome for another episode of the Laws of the Universe workshop series. This month, we're covering the law of rhythm, and it's not a big surprise because all the laws are kind of entangled within each other and they complement each other very well. So, last month, we kind of went over the law of rhythm, and today we're going to mix it in with what we've already learned and then give you a taste of what we're going to offer for the last episode of our series, which is going to be the last month of the year, and then a surprise for a bonus one coming in the new year. So, the law of rhythm is such a beautiful law because we see it at play everywhere in our lives. And you could think of the first rhythm in our lives that gives us life, which is the rhythm of our heartbeat. And that is the beginning of life. And it's a God given rhythm that brings flow of blood through all our body and that sustains us, sustains life. So that is a rhythm that, without thinking about it, it happens. We don't even have to make it happen. It's just natural. It's always there. It's working for everyone as long as you're alive. Um, and the other rhythm that we can think of is our breath. Our breath is a rhythm of in and out, taking in some air and letting it all out. And spiritually and at a consciousness level, it's very much about taking in all of life's experiences and letting go of everything that doesn't serve us. And we need those rhythms in our lives to help us flow freely so that we don't get stuck in the pendulum of life. We've mentioned that analogy a lot throughout the series of that swinging pendulum. We mention it with the law of polarity, with the opposites, good and bad. So we don't want to get stuck in either sides of the spectrum or the polarity or the rhythms of life, the cycles. We want to be able to just ride the waves, the ebb and flow, which is another example for rhythms. Like the tide will always eventually turn from being out to coming back in. So those are natural examples in the world, in reality, in nature that God has created that we can observe and learn from. And we can see how these patterns, these models of how life works can be applied to our own experiences in our own lives, in our reality. So one of my biggest lessons with that the rhythm and cycles in our lives. The moon cycle is another one for women. Like we're very much attuned to that. 28 days. Well, that's also a natural cycle that happens every month for everyone. And us as women, we're very much synced with that for our own cycles, whether we're aware of it or not, or whether we're in harmony with it or not, which is another big aspect of it. So one thing I've learned a lot with all the laws and this idea of flow is that neither is good or bad. The ups and downs of lives, the rise and fall, we can think of empires and civilizations like throughout history. Like there's always a point where you're at your highest, and then there's a point where you're lowest, and then in between, there's transitions. Well, and we've repeated that a lot, but it's so important that to accept things as they are and recognizing that this is part of our universe, of how God created our world and us in it, and we're very much part of it, connected to all of it. And so accepting that and having an awareness of how it works helps us to find balance and harmony within all these cycles and patterns and um, swinging of pendulums in our lives. And so having that knowledge and understanding and even wisdom, and remembering that wisdom, because it's not something like out there. Of course, it's divine wisdom, but we all have it within us. We just have to remember it, and that's why this kind of information resonates so much. It has resonated so much with me because we already know it intuitively inside of us. It's like an innate wisdom that we all have through our soul, our spirit, our higher self, whatever you want to call it. And so, knowing that or remembering that this is how the universe works, we can have peace in accepting the way things are and using that knowledge and understanding and wisdom to um, ride the waves of the ebbs and flows, of the pendulum swinging, of the cycles of ups and downs, and learning the lessons that we need to learn throughout those experiences, and also living them fully. Like, I want to feel when I'm in a low, I want to feel the pain and the sorrow and the grief and all that comes with it. It sometimes it's uncomfortable and unpleasant, but there's so much lesson in it. There's so much wisdom in it, and resting in peace, knowing that on the other side of that, the pendulum is still swinging. It never stops. There's always movement. There's always um, motion. Nothing is fixed in our universe. So then, because we know that, then we know we're never going to get stuck in that situation. And it's up to us to not let the emotions get stuck within our bodies, because that's when we create stress, disease, and so on. And just take that breath out, letting it go, and then riding the wave again. Up, here we go again. And every time it's we go deeper and deeper. I'm experiencing that lately. Lessons that come in, and you're like, well, this is actually nothing new. Hello, here we go again. But we're going at a deeper level because now I'm ready to step into the next level of embodying me, who I truly am. So here I am riding another wave of, wow, this is kind of the same thing, but we're going deeper this time. It's like, okay, I'm ready for more. So let's go. And actually it's exciting because now I'm allowing all the emotions. I'm accepting all of it. No resistance. And there's so much that moves through our bodies. We can release so much. And then once we release, the more we release, the more we grow and allow space for more to come in, which is one of the other laws that we um, spoke about. I think it was compensation, where we need to let go to, or give up, let go, give, and give up to get more and to feel more of the abundance. So it's kind of a playful game that we're in this life, in our experiences, and to just keep that flexibility is just so freeing. And so, yeah, that is the law of rhythm in how it fits with all the other laws. And Lori, how would you explain it, and how has it played out in your life?
So I like what you said, Laura. I think you hit the nail on the head when you said good or bad. Like sometimes it's for our ego to judge an experience as being bad. That is, we automatically, when we think like that, we're putting up resistance. And so what resistance does is it causes it um, to what we resist will persist. So if we go with the flow, if we understand, okay, this experience, yes, it's sad, and I'm going to feel the pain. My parent died, or whatever it is. I'm going to feel it. You experience it, but at the same time, even anger and fighting it will actually not will hinder us from flowing with the experience. So um, I think that the thing that helps me is to accept what I cannot change. I mean, there's situations that come up where we can change. Well, then that's all part of going through open doors and closed doors, right? But when something happens, like a loved one dies, or you get in a car accident, or whatever, um, it's about, okay, this is part of the flow of life, and I'm not going to judge. Like, I remember Trent, our son, he had this broken leg, and he said, you know, um, Mom, excuse me, he says, Mom, like, why on earth did this happen? Because it's a bad thing. Like, we think of a broken leg as a bad thing. Well, as it turns out, he was in the elevator with his boss from the 28th floor in Houston. And of course, your conversation starter is, oh, what happened to your leg? And here, this was his boss man from the 28th floor that he had been sending emails to, and they end up talking spiritual things, and now they're best friends. So I guess what I'm saying is, what we may think is bad, good can come out of it. So just flow with the experiences. And what one thing I will add is, as you were mentioning, Laura, about when things get stuck, then that creates suffering. So if we can flow with the rhythms, then we're not stuck, and you just flow with life, and then it helps you. It puts you things in a perspective, which brings wisdom to know, okay, this too shall pass, and it just helps along. And so suffering, when we find ourselves suffering, we have to remember that's a choice. That means we're resisting the situation. And so to just say, okay, I accept what I cannot change, and just flow with it. And you release that blocked energy.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and there are more, like I like those, some of those cycles you mentioned, and there's sleeping, there's awake, the sleep awake cycle, there's
Yeah,
uh
there's
there's
one.
yeah, birth, life, the whole works. There's new cycles, um and we can adjust the swing somewhat in how we react. Like, we can keep the pendulum from swinging so far to the left, you could say, um, like to the down, by how we respond and how quickly we stay there, by how quickly we flow with it for
Mhm.
the pendulum
And I also
to
think
swing
there's an
back.
aspect of um,
Yeah.
like we're all different and we all have to experience life in a different way because we have different perspectives. And again, it comes back to the law of relativity, right? Um, and so some people will be able to find that middle ground, that harmony easier. Some people will experience um, extreme sides of the pendulum and the polarity and the duality and all of that. And we're wondering, like, why on earth is that happening to them? Like, wow, like we all experience both sides of um, the polarity, the duality, because that's how life works, and we need to flow through those rhythms. Um, but for some people, the pendulum goes like this. For some people, the pendulum goes like this. And for some people, the pendulum goes like this. And we're wondering, why? And it could be us. I don't know how your life has been, but um, I think there needs to be no judgment in that. It's not the same for everyone, and it depends on your own soul journey and what you need to learn in your life to grow and to evolve and to just um, reconnect to your true self and to the divine and your true nature. And so some people, because of who they are and what they've chosen, they need to experience more extremes because maybe that's how they'll wake up. They kind of need an electroshock. And other people, well, for them, it's just enough to feel a bit rocked. Um, and it's all good. There's no judgment. There's no like, oh, worse or better, or you know, it's all part of learning, and we get what we need. Like God knows exactly what we need to experience at what moment and in what frequency, what intensity to teach us the lessons that we need to learn to grow and evolve and just come back to him. Another rhythm that I thought about, and that's I think I've been sitting on that one for years now, still learning from it, is that rhythm of, like you mentioned, um, day and night, like sleep and rest, of doing and being. And that is a challenging one for me. And you probably will, resonate with that one too. But we get so caught up in doing our to-do list, like this is what I need to do, and and we want to, be active, um, and there's a bit of a rat race that we can fall into, and our culture is very much bathing us in that, as if like our sense of worth comes from being busy. Like the more you do, the more you accomplish, like you're a great person, like high five. um but that's a little bit imbalanced, and we can get caught up in that ego illusion as well. So just to realize that, yes, we need action, because this doesn't happen like that. um, God is not going to do it for us. He wants us to be actors and co-creators of our own lives. He wants us to work with him, alongside of him, and so action is very much part of this whole manifestation process. um, and there are things to do, there are actions to take, and steps to move into.
Inspired action, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly, that's another law.
Yeah.
um, and at the same time, we need the being, we need the rest. And that's something I've had to learn and really step into, and surrender to it and accept it, that um, I can't be going around um, like a chicken without a head on, right? I need to find the quietness and the peace within and just be, hold the frequency of who I am now and accept it for what it is, even if there's still things that need to be changed. And because we can get caught up too in like, oh, this is the next thing I need to learn, the next thing I need to do. And with the manifestation process, like there's just so much that can come on our plate. Well, okay, let's take a moment. Now is the only time that exists, and rest is so beneficial. The being part. And Lori, you were sharing, I don't know if you want to share that with us too, here about your son saying that the being present, like our own presence, our own state of being, the frequency we hold sometimes is more powerful than just anything we could say or do.
Right. That's right. So someone with high higher frequency, or it depends what language, we could say a higher level of consciousness, we affect our I guess our energy range gets bigger. So you affect more people around you just by being. And it's not what you say. It's just like when we pray to God. That's why faith is so important, because when we pray, guess what God hears more than our words? He hears our level of belief, our faith. So you could say one thing to God, we could ask him one thing, but yet if we don't believe, if we get up from prayer hoping that God heard us, that's not belief. So it's our level of belief, it's our level of faith, it's our level of consciousness, our frequency, if you will, that radiates out to others, and the law of attraction brings it back to us, on that attracts back to us the same frequency. And this is all measurable. Like even in a scientific level, it's measured in hertz, the vibrational frequency. It's just fascinating stuff. Like I just love researching this.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to add one thing to your point about rest, Laura. And another, when we think of rhythm in music, what makes rhythm
Mhm.
rhythm? Okay. Does anyone have an answer to that? Or guess, I guess at that? What makes rhythm rhythm? What makes it so it's not one loud noise?
Silence in between.
Exactly. It's the space in between the music notes. And so that is the rest, or in music, we even call it a rest. That little rest note, like, and the space is in between, and then plus that rest is just an extra long rest. Okay. So that's why be still and know that I am God. Be still, be present, be one with God, as that was Jesus, one of his prayers. May they all be one as we are one. Well, we can only be one in that where God dwells in that present moment. That one, like we're not going to find him in the past or the future. If we're seeking for God and our mind is wandering here and there, we're not going to find him there. We're going to find him in the present moment, the I am moment, the I am that I am. It's present. It's not I was, I will, it's I am. I in the still moment. So that's kind of cool when you think about it, that when we pray, I find for myself, and even when you understand energy, how energy works for the laws of the universe, is to get up from prayer. But we don't pray to ask God to do something, because but we get up from prayer thanking God as if it's already happened. Jesus said, ask, believe that you've received it, and it shall be yours. And some of his most powerful prayers, like with raising Lazarus from the dead, he didn't say, Father, please raise Lazarus from the dead. Did you notice what he said? He said, thank you for hearing my prayer, even before Lazarus was raised. So this matter of when we pray with faith, believing that it's already happened, and we get up from prayer thanking God instead of hoping that our prayers reach the ceiling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the power of resting, being still, and it's in those moments that we increase our frequency,
Mm-hmm.
that we increase our level of belief or our level of faith or our level of consciousness, if you will.
Thanks for that, Lori. It's a good reminder. On gratitude, something came up for me this week. I'm preparing for birth. I'll give birth hopefully mid-January, towards the end, mid to end.
You
Um,
know what, Laura, can you repeat that? You kind of froze there. Can you repeat that?
oh, I
What
said
you were going to
something came up for me this week
Yeah.
about birth. I'm preparing to give birth to our third baby, and um, there's something about sitting in the frequency of gratitude for um, the process of life and labor and giving birth. And so there's a lot of rhythms in the physiology of birth as well. Like we go through different stages of the birth process. And some pain can come up, and the intensity of it varies for every woman, um, depending on the level of resistance that we have, the level of fears we have, the level of beliefs that we hold about, our bodies giving birth and all of that. But sitting in that frequency of gratitude, and of course using that rhythm of breath in and out. I take in all life's experiences, and I release and let go of everything that doesn't serve me in this experience. So we're very much using the rhythms of life, which it's beautiful how it comes all into play in that major life experience of bringing life to earth. But sitting in that um, attitude of gratitude for everything, every single stage of the process, and um, the, the the low parts and the up parts, because there's also hormones that help us navigate those stages of labor. the oxytocin and all of that. And then once you've given birth, you almost forget everything because there's so much joy and love that submerged you. So all these rhythms that are entangled together, some that we're not even aware of, even in the moment, um, especially in the moment, but it all comes together to create something so magical. And that experience of giving birth, that is a God created moment, right? It, like how much, it doesn't matter how much man has tried to interfere with it, how much we try to control it. Um, there's that perfect divine design, and when we surrender to it, when we're in harmony with it, there's true magic, and it's as much physical that it is mental, emotional, and spiritual. And I could speak for 5 more hours about it because it gets me passionate, as you can see. And I'm very much in it, obviously. But just sitting in that state of gratitude, we can apply that to everything in our lives, actually. It's just an attitude that we have. And then it becomes a behavior of how we are being in life, that we hold that frequency of gratitude, that no matter what happens in the stages and the processes of our experiences, that we can see the beauty in it and we can surrender to it and we can accept it and learn from it. And if there's things that come up, because there's a lot of things that come up during labor and birth, all our fears and our beliefs will just like pew, pop to the surface without, whether it's conscious or unconscious. It's because life experiences, they trigger us. And I used to see triggers as like, oh, dangerous, oh my goodness, um, ow, 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 painful, right? Well, actually, triggers are an opportunity for us to grow and heal because it shows us, it points the finger at something in our lives that still isn't whole and isn't um, in love and light frequency, so to speak. So, um, yeah, I love that you mentioned that because it brought me back to that example, and for me it's so real and it can be applied to everything in life. Like it's very much a framework, a blueprint that God has created to guide us through life so that we know how to be. Because when a baby is born, they they know nothing except to survive, and yet they're still very much dependent on their caregivers, and they have to learn everything. And when we become adult, we think we know everything, and that's the pride and our pride and our ego. And we can get stuck at a point where we stop learning and growing because we're so well established in our mind. And then midlife crisis comes. Hopefully, it
Yeah.
doesn't have to come to that point. Some people don't have to get to that point. Some people need to get to that point, and for some people, the midlife crisis, as we call it, is very hard. And I think it's has very much to do with the spiritual side of us, that we need a readjustment. We need to redirect our lives and remember that we're here for a purpose, and our sense of identity, our ego, mind, our pride, and all that we have attached to it have shifted us away from who we need to be, which is very much a spiritual being, a soul, and with a purpose, and something is hindering that growth. And so by surrendering to the divine laws of the universe and get understanding them and getting the knowledge and the wisdom from it, then we can apply them to realign our lives and um, find harmony again and balance, because it's all about balance, really. um, while we still are flexible within the flows of life, the ups and downs and the polarities and the rhythms, we accept it all. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, we're the conductor of our own orchestra, and the more we flow, the less we get stuck in the downs. Like it's flow. Um, you mentioned gratitude. We're talking about gratitude, and when we feel gratitude, that is being still. That is the pause in the music, in the rhythm. So being present, stop, being still. Like we all can think of something that we're grateful for, even if it's the flowers, if you love gardening or whatever it is, or your family. The more gratitude you feel, the high that is the quickest way to rise in consciousness, in faith, in love, in harmony. So gratitude is huge, absolutely huge in flowing, being able to flow and how we react to the cycles or the rhythms that come. And this law of rhythm, it flows very much hand in hand with the law of correspondence, because the law of correspondence is as above, so below, and which is as it is in heaven, or as in heaven as it is in earth. So the universal laws are the same. The rhythm is the same. The attraction is the same. They're all the same, no matter what part of the cosmos, micro or macro, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, or universal. It's all God. How He created everything is the same rhythm. There's rhythms. There's in the moons, in the speaking about the cycles of the moon. This is just kind of a fun fact. Okay, I don't know how this can really apply to us, but do you know why April Fools? Where that came from? I mean, you could Google will tell you all kinds of things, but if you look back as to where April Fools came from, it's because the original calendar, pre-Julian, like right now we're in the Gregorian calendar, and then there's the previous one was the Julian Roman calendar, and then there was one called pre-Julian calendar, like that we refer to as the pre-Julian calendar, where April was actually the first month of the year. And apparently, so April Fools is that April used to be the first day of the year. That's really where April Fools comes from. So it used to be the first day of the year, and that in effect was, you could say, God's calendar. It was most perfect for the rhythms of human beings, for women's menstrual cycles, for the seasons, for the moons. And it's interesting that was changed to mess us up, to
Yeah.
mess up. You know what I mean? Like,
No,
I don't know if it was a cabal or what it was. So.
no, and I no, I've seen that as well, and it was funny, but also it makes you think, because they even changed the new calendar, the Gregorian calendar. They changed the number of
You're cutting out
days.
again, Laura.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
You good now?
Yeah, you froze.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. So even the number of days within the month, that has been changed to with the new calendar. So it used to be a 28-day
Yeah.
month, and now they've changed it to 30 to 31. And actually, I remember learning at school, like July, August. The reason why both months have 31 days is because the emperor Julius Caesar, who named the month after himself, July,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the Emperor Augustus, who named the month of August after him. They both wanted 31 days in their month, like, because we're so
Yeah.
important. So they're like, okay, fine, we'll just
Yeah.
July,
Well,
August.
and you think about it, sept is 7, but
Mhm.
yet it's a ninth month,
Yeah.
right? And you look at December,
Mhm.
like decade
And,
is
yeah.
10, and decade used to be the 10th month.
Mm.
And then October is the
8.
10th month now, but octagon.
Yeah.
Everything is 8. So the original calendar
Yeah.
was better for humans.
Yeah.
And then, and apparently, you know what? There's rumor that we may even one day return to that calendar. So
Oh
who
yeah, I
knows?
think people are starting to catch on, like, hey, this is not working for us, because the
Uh,
first month of the a natural rhythm and cycle is when life starts again. When does life starts again? In the spring,
in the
April,
spring. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're born again.
Yeah,
everything in nature is born again in April, spring. Okay,
yeah,
start again, first month, and then the last month everything dies. That would be what is it? More like December, January, February. Like everything
yeah,
dies, and that's the end of it, right? And
yeah,
we're concluding the cycle. And the same with the 28 days. Like it makes way more sense
yeah,
to go with the moon, so then you can
yeah,
align your own rhythms,
yeah,
the
yeah. Well, the
inside
women's
rhythms,
cycle,
yeah, your own
right,
cycles of
are 28 days
sleep,
normally. Yeah,
yeah, sleep and menstruation, or even like seasonally, there's things that are good for the body, like detoxes, or like even what you eat and what kind of nutrition you get is it's totally different depending on the season. Well, if we're more tuned with the rhythms of nature, we're more in harmony. So it's
yes,
almost like, and I don't want to be like, ooh, doom and gloom, like conspiracy theorist kind of person either, but it's almost like by design, the modern world has wanted to get us disconnected from nature and from the true divine design of how we're supposed to be in this world and who we're supposed to be. Because the more we're disconnected and the more we forget um, how we are very much supposed to be in sync with nature and the creator, then we're more easily controllable and we lose our power. We lose our sovereignty. And so I think we're in the best time ever. And you guys are so lucky to be alive today. We are so lucky to be alive today because this is the best time in the universe because people are waking up to these truths. And it's slowly starting to come out, and people are remembering that, oh, wait a second. What we've been doing in the last 200 years and plus isn't working for us. Obviously, look at us. We're
yeah,
finding ourselves in a state of the worst health possible. The United States is just, a diagnosis is the worst that you could ever get. Um, nature is also screaming at us, like we're abusing nature and the environment. And then we are disconnected. Like there's so much mental illness, and we're talking about mental health and diseases. And like you can see in all the areas of our society, things are starting to crumble. And that was another aspect of the law of rhythm that I really liked. And when you look at this, look at the state of the world, you could get easily caught up in
chaos.
the duality, in the chaos, in the in that low stage where we could say we're kind of like going downhill right now. Well, that's just another rhythm. That's just part of the whole picture. And it's just a stage. And it's a stage that we need to go through in order to climb up the hill again and find ourselves on the other side. So, yes, partially. And also that's perspective, right? Like the law of relativity, because we could see all the darkness and the evil that's coming out in the world. And
Have
we
to.
can
We
also
have to see it.
see, yeah, it's necessary. We have to be aware and awake on that of that.
Yeah,
But we can also look at the other side of the polarity and realize that as much as there's darkness, there is light. And I see so much goodness in people, and there's so many people waking up, and there's so many good initiatives and opportunities that are coming out of these very dark, chaotic moments and experiences that we have to go through. It's kind of like purging the shadows of our consciousness, both like individually and collectively. It needs to happen for humanity and for me, for you. And we want to allow that. I want to look at all my shadows and darkness and just like take it and just release it, let it go. Because the moment we do this and we turn away, we are stuck. We stop our growth. Boom, it's stunt. Like we chose to keep ourselves in a corner of reality, and nothing, nobody can do anything for us. It has to be a choice, and it has to be us that fully um, become aware and awake and accept the state of things, the the ugly and the beautiful, and to go through that ebb and flow of like, I take it all in, no resistance to it, it's okay, no judgment, and then I
Well, and
just release it.
that's the thing. Like empires rise and empires fall. I mean, the Bible even teaches us that, right? He raises up empires, he causes them to fall. Um, and so I think even just the biggest lesson we could probably even learn here today is awareness of, and take note, be aware of our own cycles, our own rhythms, and be aware of the rhythms around. And that, so that when we see things hit the fan, we can actually rejoice as opposed to despair when we're awake and alert. And because we know, and the thing is as bad as some things get, you know, the pendulum is going to swing the other way, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. So I think, anyways, I think that's the lesson for me too, is just to have that awareness of, okay, yeah, my house, you know, I remember just standing on my landing here looking at this guy who just broke into our house, and Orland, my husband and my son were sitting on top of this guy, and I'm thinking, okay, like, because they pushed him down the stairs and got him out, and I'm thinking, I mean, I could freak out and, you know, scream and, you know, get so upset. I mean, so how we react in those low times is huge. When you kind of just say, I wonder what the learning in here, this is for me. I mean, we could kind of react, like take it as it comes, or we can go into despair. And but with that's just going to keep us stuck. Despair will be stuck in the lows, you know, like for longer than we would have normally. So does anybody have any questions or comments? Andrea, do you have something you want to share?
Yeah, I do. So, this is a gratitude practice. I don't know if you can, it's called The Magic by Rhonda Byrne.
Okay.
It's a wonderful book. I'm completing the whole gratitude practice for like the third or fourth time. I'm doing it with a group of friends. And every day you have to write a list of 10 blessings, and then just different facets of gratitude. But I love this topic and what you've shared about the pause being between the notes, being the silence and in the cycle, and the gratitude keeps you there. I love that. I also just popped into my mind. Have you ever heard of a virtuous circle or virtuous cycle? It's the opposite of a death spiral.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. The one that goes up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just like, it's something beneficial happens, or you do something beneficial like exercise, and you feel good and it motivates you to do it again. So you just keep spiraling up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like that. You know, it's a rhythm and a cycle too.
Yeah. Well, and gratitude just helps
Mhm.
that spiral.
It is a virtuous cycle. Gratitude. Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's good.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Andrea.
Yeah,
Anybody
you're
else?
welcome.
Anybody else want to share something? Yes, Julie?
Yeah, it's just exciting of when the frequencies just are in a line. I finally have started reading The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And this whole, what you guys have been saying is like, I just love how it's just all click, 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 click. Everything's like, you're saying what I've been reading and trying to get now. And it's so hard for me because I am always either in the past or in the future. And so I'm actually, thank you. I'm loving what you guys are sharing this time. I mean, I love it every time, but it's really resonating right now. I can feel it like, oh, this all makes sense.
Thank you. Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great book. One of my
Yeah.
favorites.
Yeah. Oh man, it's intense.
Yeah.
No one knows like Eckhart how to get into the now.
Okay. Yeah.
He's excellent.
Yeah.
Mm.
But it resonates so much with, like, you know, your book, Lori, of like, you know, when I read yours, I remember feeling, oh, the high vibrations being there, and then how quickly I can just go back down to but I'm glad of the reminder that it's pendulum. I mean, like the back and forth.
Right.
And then you, even Laura, talking right now about the whole the rhythm, like that it's happening everywhere. Like we're all kind of being aware of everything. So thank you. Just thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Two other books that I think we might have mentioned in our first episode on the law of attraction and vibration that have been really transformational for my own journey is the work of Louise Hay. And if you're not familiar with her, I would definitely recommend to look her up. And to start with, Heal Your Life. That's a book that she wrote, and there's also practical exercises in there, and even a list at the end of all the most of the physical ailments that we might experience and how they can be explained on an emotional level, and affirmations to go with it and to help you release that. And I've very much, since I've read that book, I've used affirmations a lot. But for me, that book is also about um, relearning to love ourselves and forgive ourselves. And I have read the book 3 or 4 years ago now, and then I did some Heal Your Life workshops with my mentor, and I've started rereading it. But now things are hitting at a different level, and so you could get head knowledge and um, right. I see you nodding, like
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Um, you could get a lot of information and gather a lot of knowledge and information and read all the books you want. And at some stage, I was kind of caught up in that because I couldn't get enough, which is great. But then comes a time where, okay, the doing is done. I've got all the tools I need in my toolbox so far, anyways. And now it's time to be present and to be and to embody the head knowledge. And I'm very much in that stage in my life. And I'm telling you, this is the most transformational thing that can ever happen to you. The head knowledge is great. It's part of the rhythm of growing and evolving. And we need that because God created us with a wonderful mind and brain, and we do need to use it. Then what you want to add to it is the being, the rest, the presence and the embodiment of it all. And it comes with practice. And so hitting that other wave or cycle of like going deeper, finding another layer where there's more to learn, this time not by thoughts and mind, but by heart knowledge, by almost it's written in your cell. Like you have to rewrite the DNA in your cells. So transform the memory that's held in your cells, in your DNA. And if you're not conscious and aware of that yet, I would definitely recommend you to look into it. And I can send you some resources if you want. But a lot of our experiences we forget, especially the ones that happened as a child. And so, but they're very much held in our bodies, in our DNA, in our cells. And so by practicing all of that head knowledge and understanding and information that we get, we embody a different level of wisdom where we um, get to the nervous system, get to the cells, the DNA of the cells, and we transform who we are being at a vibrational level. And that's kind of linked as well to heart brain coherence, and that's a whole different chapter. But it's finding that harmony between um, the mind, which is a great tool, and thank God for that, and our heart, which not the physical heart, but the spiritual heart, like the intuition, the wisdom, the inner guidance system, the inner compass that we refer to. Because and then there's verses in the Bible about God writing things on our heart, and so our beliefs and our convictions and our faith are very much linked to our heart. And so when we find that heart brain coherence, and we need both, the heart chakra and the you know up there, the third eye and chakra, um, then we find that harmony and coherence. And we're able to flow through those rhythms with more ease. And things fall into place and get um, untangled for us. Um, yeah, so the other book by Louise Hay, to come back to that, is The Power is Within You. And I also would recommend that one. And that's very much about, well, it's in the title, right? Like the answers are within us. And it's not to look at it with like a pride, ego perspective. Nothing to do with that. It's to remember that I have my own connection to the divine. I have a soul and spirit. I have an innate wisdom, an inner compass, and trusting that and connecting with my heart is connecting with all that there is and all knowledge and connecting to God, right? The source. And so I'm very much powerful, not of my own strength and mind, but because I'm connected to the greater source. And remembering that we're sovereign, we can empower ourselves to that infinite source of power.
The
And
kingdom is within you. You
yes,
just said that.
exactly. And so that forgiveness and loving yourself part comes in stages and in rhythms and in cycles. And it's never ending. We're all gonna die, and it's gonna be until the day we die. Because there's always more to learn, and we can't get close enough to God. There's always more. There's always more wholeness and oneness that we can find within our own experience to God, because we started off so disconnected and yeah. So I found that so fascinating, and we need those tools. Thanks to Louise Hay for her work, and Eckhart Tolle and many others. And those books have been really helpful. And Andrea said that too. She bought Louise Hay's book. Thank you. I read affirmations in the bathtub. Love heart brain coherence. I hold gratitude for 3 minutes. And
Louise
good for you.
Louise Hay, her she has a publishing house as well. She's not just an author, but she has a publishing house called Hay House. And my book was published by Balboa Press, which is a division of Hay House. So I look up to Louise too. I mean, I enjoy her books, and that Heal Your Life, that's my go-to book. If something unusual happens, I just, okay, what is this? Or if somebody says, Lori, can you look up this to see
Yeah, absolutely.
what this means or whatever, I've got it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anybody else have anything to share, like Magali or any of the Affleck household? No? Oh, Magali?
Oh, you're muted.
So thank you for this one. I really enjoyed it. I don't think I can add more. So I've also discovered gratitude in a deeper meaning later in life, and it actually changed my life. So it literally changes my outlook on things. And even when I walk down the village and I see that the mountains are covered with snow and it's sunshine, I'm just grateful. And it does something to my heart. I even noticed this morning again, it actually does something to my heart, as if before there was a wall before around my heart, and now my heart is actually open. So I receive more, but that's all I've got to share.
It's beautiful. Thank you, Maggie.
I also have those books.
Oh, good.
Join the club.
Good. That's beautiful. And Magali, every time you look at those mountains and you feel that gratitude, that is a pause in between the music notes.
Yes.
I had this.
I feel it in my body. Thank you.
Yeah, I had the same experience this week, and it was quite emotional. It could be also the pregnancy hormones at this stage, but I was sitting in my car and just thinking of where I'm at in my life and the blessings I have and everything. And then just feeling that gratitude so deeply, like you said, it opens up your heart and expands it. And then it's like you're tapping into a frequency that has no limit. It's just so powerful. I'm getting shivers just thinking about it. It's so transformational, and it's a love frequency. It's pure love and light, and it's like you're saying to God, like, thank you. I see you. I see me, and I accept everything. I take it all, and I'm ready for more. Just keep it coming, right? Let's go. Like, I can hold more, because the more we close our hearts and we have walls, the more we limit the abundant supply of the universe. But the more we sit in that frequency of gratitude and align ourselves with the laws and being in harmony, we open up the well. And Jesus said it's an infinite well. There's no, the water is like, you can't, you'll never be thirsty. You'll never know what thirst and hunger is, because whew, you'll be like infinitely connected to that. And it's just so powerful and so beautiful that that's the yeah, I don't know what else to say.
Raquel?
One thing, and I think Dad has something to say. It was kind of funny. I got a notification on my phone 3 minutes ago, and there's a secret app based off the book. And so
Oh,
you can set it where like it'll notify you to be grateful. And so I got
oh,
one.
cool.
I don't always do it, but I like it because it forces like, okay, in this moment, what's something I'm grateful for? Like I'm in a warm house, I have people around me. Yeah, that's kind of
What's
cool.
the app called?
The Secret, and
Okay.
it has like inspirational stories, and
It's really good.
it has like a little gratitude journal, and
Yeah.
no one sees it. And then there's actually like an affirmations thing, so it'll give you different affirmations to say in the moment if you can't think of any out of your mind.
Yeah,
So
thanks for sharing. I'll definitely
Can
check.
I, can I ask like Andrea to write your book down? Like after send a note to Laura after this, so that she could put it down under the video. And then Raquel, if you can just write that down too, that
sure.
little app,
Yeah,
because yeah,
I think it's
I'm
called
taking notes.
Secret off
Yeah.
of the book. Yeah.
is it off of the book, The Secret?
Yeah. Or it's called
Oh, okay,
Super App.
The Secret 365 on the.
Yeah.
okay, okay,
I'll
good.
send
Thank
it to
you.
And that in itself, to come back to the moment of rest and silence, that is taking a pause in our day and resting for a minute in silence. So that means like silencing the mind of like the doing and the thinking and whatever else is going on, and just taking a breath and okay, I'm actually grateful for this. Even if it's the smallest thing that you think is silly, it's still valid. Hmm. Okay,
Yeah.
well, thanks so much for sharing. We're a little bit over the hour, but if you have a few more minutes, I'd love to share some affirmations with you, and then I'd like to finish with a breathing exercise because I feel like it's fitting for today's call, especially with that flow that we've been talking about, the
Rhythm.
in and out, and sitting in silence and taking a pause and rest. And I find that I don't breathe enough during the day. Or like, actually, there's I think it's a yogic from Asia that says like the state of your health is a reflection of, or like the state of your breath is a reflection of the state of your health. Like the way you breathe shows like how your health is doing. So wherever we're constricted or holding on or feeling tight, there's a resistance there. So it's good to just practice deepening the breath, the up and the down, and just sitting in that moment. So let's do a few affirmations, and I'll write them also in the video or in the email I sent you with the replay. I trust that everything in my life is happening in perfect timing, and I choose to surrender to the natural flow of the universe. I am aware that everything in my life is in constant state of change, and I choose to embrace change as a natural part of the rhythm of life. I find balance and harmony in every cycle. I surrender to the rhythm of the universe and flow with grace. I am thankful for the cycles of growth and transformation in my life, and I trust that each cycle brings me closer to my highest good. I choose to trust the timing of the universe and to have faith that everything is working out for my highest good. And so it is. All right, so I'll just play some music. And it's 432 hertz music for those who know. Hopefully it's going to work to share the music. I actually don't know how to do that.
So it's 132 hertz, eh?
42, 32, yes.
132. They can actually measure thoughts in hertz, thoughts and feelings, and like it's pretty cool. And the love, divine love, when we're kind of
Oh, can you hear me?
oh yeah, I can hear you.
Sorry, I think, did I lost you? Did I lose you or did you lose me?
I lost you. We can
Oh,
see your screen
Oh, we
too.
can see it. No, we're good.
can you
Yeah,
see
we're good
me?
now.
Mhm.
Yep.
Oh, I'm screen sharing. Okay, well. Interesting. I don't know if you can hear the sound though. I've never done this before, so bear with me. Maybe we won't have any sound today. I just want to share the sound, not my screen. Okay, share. Oh well, see? Can
We
you
can
hear
still
any
do the
sound
breathing,
or?
but just from you, but not from that.
Interesting. Okay, well, I'll have to figure that out for next time. But the sound of silence is just as good. Maybe that's what we need today, actually. To sit in silence and hear our own inner voice.
That's called flowing. That's called flowing with it, right?
Staying flexible, you know. All right, well, first, is there any more questions or comments or anything you want to add? All good?
You know, I was going to say something. You were talking about just feeling those negative emotions and not resisting them. And we had a discussion in one of my chat groups about this. And someone said, actually 90 minutes, if you allow 90 minutes you can feel the worst intensity of the emotion or the deepest intensity of the emotion, and then it passes. So that's good to know.
Yeah.
Just let yourself feel into it for 90 minutes, no, 90 seconds. Sorry, 90 seconds.
Yeah, it takes less than that sometimes. Like even 1 minute.
Right.
To allow yourself to feel it all. That's all it takes. And someone mentioned that to me not too long ago, and I thought that sounds long. Like to sit 1 minute to sit in a very uncomfortable emotion, like pain or grief or sadness or anger and frustration. Because often what we have learned is to repress it or avoid it or stuff it down, you know.
Yeah.
But actually allow us to feel it. It's a tough practice, but that's what's needed to fully step into it so that because we need to experience that full-on part of the flow of emotions, like that stage, so that we can release it. There's no release stuck emotions without feeling them fully.
But one thing I do want to add though, when you understand the principle of rhythm and you understand that it's okay to feel it, it's almost like the intensity isn't as bad because you understand and you flow with it. You're not resisting.
Yeah,
No, you're not
true.
resisting. It just kind of helps a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
So
True.
thank you, Andrea. And Raquel, did you
Sure.
have something? Oh, okay.
All right. Perfect.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Well.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Been awesome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's been
This is-
awesome.
Oh, thanks, Heather. Welcome.
Okay. Well, let's finish with that little breathing exercise. And so, if we can all find a comfortable seat, I'll just keep bouncing on my ball, and um, make sure you find space in your chest area. And if you want, you can close your eyes or just focus on a point and just take a moment. And we're going to take a deep breath together. And then we can release it fully. And just allowing ourselves to find that space within. So whether it means to deepen the in breath and just take in more air into our lungs, or to just go deeper in the exhale and release fully at the bottom. And just let's continue doing that for 2 or 3 more breaths. And just notice where you feel any tension or aches, or maybe something is stuck somewhere. How does it feel? Is there an emotion attached to it? And can you release it? And then if you want, you can pause at the top of the inhale and just hold it there. And then release fully. And pause it there for a second. A couple more. Inhale through our nose and exhale through our mouth. Beautiful. Now we can continue to breathe naturally and come back.
What I sometimes try to do when I'm breathing a deep breath in, I picture it as being the good life force, God's life force coming in, and then I'm breathing out as what no longer serves me. And oxygen zaps any cancer cells in our body. And some of the darkest, deepest recesses of our body is where cancer can start, you could say. But so what I do is when I breathe in, I picture I visualize, I'm a visualizer. Okay. So I visualize the oxygen coming in through my body and just going zap, 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 all those dark. We all have cancer cells, right? We all have cancer cells, but I just picture the oxygen and totally cleaning out my body. And that's kind of helps me visualize. Yeah.
I was going to say,
Yeah, go ahead.
it also detoxes your body. Someone gave me a detox exercise. You breathe in deeply, and then at the top, you try to take 3 more breaths in, and then slowly let it out. And it's detoxing.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, breath is so important. And Raquel, with your app, the moments of gratitude, I wonder if we can add a breath to that while we're doing the gratitude, just really deepening the breath and focusing on the breath. And that moment of pause in our day, I need it, we all need it. It's so beneficial, and it kind of resets our brain as well. And then we get more mental clarity, and then we're able to go about our day with a new, fresh air, more oxygen through our bodies and minds. Next month we'll do another breathing exercise with visualization, so that will be exciting, and it'll be the last law of the universe, the last month of the year. But it's not over, and I guess we could already share with you that we're working, Lori and I, on an ebook that will condense all the information of this workshop series, and it will be, excuse me, it will be kind of like a workbook where you will have all the affirmations and the examples and some exercises and questions that you can use to read
and just reference, just easy reference.
Yeah, where you can get more information on doing this and learning about that. And so that you can use it as a little booklet or a guide to remind you quickly of like, oh, what is this law saying about this, or how do I practice gratitude and affirmations, and what do we do with this problem? So we're working on this together and hoping to get it ready, kind of like a end of the year Christmas present before the holidays, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah, and we'll share it with you. And then also planning for a bonus call in the new year, but we'll let you know more about that next month. So a lot of exciting things to come, because we don't want to leave you just like that at the end of the year. We want to give you like a little piece of, you know, like a little key in your toolbox to continue that work and help you integrate the laws in your life.
Yeah. Are you allowed to say that it's a potential, like another guest? Are you allowed to say that or no?
Yes, I've already put that out there. So, I'm working on the manifestation of it all. I'm attracting it to myself. But yes, I'm working on getting a guest speaker for a bonus call in January. A very special guest that will bring in new dimension to the laws of the universe. I won't give it out yet because it's not done yet.
Not confirmed.
Yeah, not confirmed. But so yeah, I'll keep you hanging and let you know more when I know more. All right. Well, thank you so much for a great call today. Sorry we went a little bit over the time. Thank you for your inputs and participation, and we'll see you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's great.
So the last law is the law of gender for next month.
Oh, wow.
That's the last law, the 12th law, and we'll do the call. I'll send you the date, but it'll be before the holidays, also at 10 a.m. Pacific time.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. Have a great
Thank you. Bye-bye.